Greetings, Groaners! Welcome to another episode of the Groaners show, this side of, well, somewhere. Presenting to you episode 80 this week. I can practically smell the 100th episode as it looms around the corner. Hell, 80 episodes is still a milestone. In just under 6 months, this show will be 2 years old, and that is a lot of groaning from when we first started for the next just under 6 months. A lot of groaning to be had. Your games this week are Admin Nicole's Anagram Anxiety, Double Down Dummies, and the 5-point countdown. All of the weekly content is here for your listening pleasure, dear groaners, and going back to normal, it all begins with 3 groans from yours truly. My groans. Friends who give other friends bad relationship advice. So the other day, I overheard 2 girls talking and one was crying. Her boyfriend had done something and she was upset. Well, you would be, wouldn't if your other half's done something. Her friend knew the boyfriend had apologised though, and this had been accepted. The friend then said, "Don't accept the apology, make him suffer." This sounds like sage advice if you want to kill a relationship. If you're on the outside of a relationship, just think on what your advice may do. Think very carefully. Razor burn. So, unless you have a beard that you maintain, you may or may not remember this. And ladies, I don't know if you get this on your legs, etc., etc. when you shave, but why in the smeg does razor burn need to be a thing? We are grooming ourselves, yet our skin decides to punish us, or those of us with sensitive skin get punished too. It's a killer on the neck, especially because you feel like nails have scratched down you. It's horrible. The lack of more free public toilets. You ever been caught short? I have. They don't let you in a club or pub in town because you don't have the right dress code at night, or you have a shopping bag with you. The shops in town centre, at least in Newcastle, don't have a toilet once they are closed. And the queue in McDonald's or Burger King or KFC for the toilet is usually as long as a giraffe's neck. So what do? Pee yourself or worse? No, there should be more public toilets, and that's for sure. They should be monitored though for vandalism and perhaps homeless people going in to make it a shelter. It's a toilet. That's what it's there for. To be used as a toilet. That's it. And well, my groan load feels like it's been lifted off my chest for another week. Don't worry, I'll have plenty to groan with next week. Not to mention, one of you gets a turn to groan later in the show. I'm feeling like a game now, and boom, it's time for the 5-point countdown. You all know the rules by now. 5 clues, start at 5 points, all the way down to 1 point. Self-explanatory, but be very careful. If you change from a right answer to a wrong answer, that doesn't mean if you guessed right at 5 and then change your mind and go, oh no, I'm going to change to 4, that doesn't mean you get 5 when you're right. If you've changed, you lose those 5 points if you're wrong. Okay? Now anyway, let's crack on with it. Clue number 5. I help protect you when you're cut or scraped. Okay, one more time for 5 points. I help protect you when you're cut or scraped. Groaners live, give me your answer. Those playing along after the fact, here's where you pause, you answer, you unpause. We've had plaster coming in, that's a good guess there. Any more groaners? Let's have a look. Plaster coming in as well, okay. Moving on. Clue number 4, I can be used anywhere. That clue. One more time. Clue 4 for 4 points. I can be used anywhere. Okay, any more guesses coming in? We've had bandage coming in. Okay, good guess. Yes, more people typing plaster in. Okay, no problem. Any more? No more. Okay. Clue number 3. I come in many types and sizes. One more time. Clue number 3. I come in many types and sizes. Someone's wrote moon boot. Okay. I would say good guess, but it isn't. But that's by the by. Any more? Nope. Okay. Clue number 2 for 2 points. If I wasn't sticky, I'd be useless. A clue one more time. Clue 2 for 2 points. If I wasn't sticky, I'd be useless. Right. One Groaners wrote glue. I'm sorry, Groaner, but listen to the other clues and think on it hard about your answer you've just given me. Glue. Wrong. Clue number 1 for 1 point. Some people scream when I'm ripped off. Clue 1 for 1 point again. Some people scream when I'm ripped off. I knew this would happen. Someone's wrote duct tape. I'm sorry, but duct tape's more for DIY, not for self-preservation. Okay, any more Groaners? Oh, with more plasters coming in. Yep, there we go. Yep, here they come. Band-Aid. Yep, okay. I think some people are going to be getting points later. That's it for the countdown. It'll be revealed later where or if you got points. There's double down dummies coming as well. You might get lucky. But well, the opposite arrives now with Oh Unlucky! And this week's Oh Unlucky may seem trivial to some, but stealing is still stealing. A Sainsbury's worker, that's a store here in the UK by the way, was doing some late night shopping after his shift. Instead of being honest and pressing the number of bags used, he pressed no bags used. And this was all caught on camera by the way. He had worked for Sainsbury's for 20 years and messed it all up by being caught stealing bags. They sacked him and he took it to court where the judge flung his case, or his claim I should say, of unfair dismissal out. When the evidence was shown that he had indeed stole from the store. Mate, the bags are what? Sainsbury's bag 30 to 60 pence? And you pinched them and bungled your job up. Unlucky. More Oh Unlucky next week. But what's this here? Oh, that would be a creepy time now with Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. This week's story is called The Sacrifice. Rosa and Lila came walking back now with a new arm attached and saw that the old man was back. The metal three were nearby as Valencia could sense them approaching with a telepathic link she had with them somehow. She warned them to stay back just in case they didn't know where the mayor was. He showed up in no time at all, but without the doctor. There was no telling where he ran off to, but no doubt the mayor was trying to keep him safe since he was still of use to him. The old man and Marianne both tore into the mayor in their anger over what he did to his own family, his own daughter. All of that just to finally get the old man out of the way. The old man told him countless times that he could leave. They would look after Ivy and he could just leave. Of course, it wasn't enough. The mayor was practically insane by this point and wouldn't listen to reason. Although maybe he had always been this way and no one realised just how far gone he truly was. He had turned the forest into ash and destroyed half of the town. How was it not enough? Yet it wasn't, not even close. He wanted the whole town gone now and he didn't care who he had to get rid of to do it. Viola had no access to teeth anymore with the factory gone, so she couldn't do much on her own, and Prince Dread had only just been able to transform back, but it was too soon to say if he had full control over it again. Rosa lost her scissors under one of the collapsed houses. They were tired, far too exhausted to fight. The mayor was clutching a bag tightly in his fists. It's possible it was full of whatever that doctor left him with. They had to be careful. He immediately pulled out a pink vial and threw it at them faster than they could react. It seemed like nothing more than a smoke screen, but as it started to clear, Valencia realised she was further away from the others than she thought, and then something cut through the smoke. It was sharp and it was fast, but before she could scream or get out of the way, Viola, who could fly much faster than she could, shoved Valencia out of the way before being pierced with a steel rod that the mayor threw through the smoke. Viola was losing blood fast, and Valencia didn't know what to do. She had to help. She had to do something. Coco had burned one of her wings, saving the creatures of the forest, and couldn't fly. Lila was in trouble. Ivy was in trouble. Viola was going to die. Who knew what else the mayor had on him? There were so many of them against one man, yet they were losing. They were fighting non-stop for a week. They were drained. The closer she looked, the more she realised they could barely stand. The old man was so overcome with rage, he couldn't see straight. He took Viola and kept pressure on her wound, trying to keep her awake and from losing any more blood. That's when Valencia heard the call. The darkness was calling to her. It was like all those years ago when the old man was called to the shop where it all began. The shop was right there, right next to them, right in her sight. She could make it if she ran. She left Viola with the old man, who took her to Coco to see if she could heal Viola, and she ran to the shop. Straight down to the basement. There it was, that black, bottomless pit. The darkness was calling to her. She knew what she had to do. The old man had run after her. He knew what she was thinking, and he pleaded. He begged her not to do it. There had to be another way. There was no other way, though. The mayor had a very dangerous scientist on his side. Everyone was exhausted. If left as it is, they would all die. But Valencia was the only one who could stop it. Even the darkness knew that. There must be another way. You don't even know if it'll work. What you might become. Please, Val, you don't have to. I'll deal with the mayor somehow. Just please, I'm begging you, don't do this, the old man said. Valencia walked over to the old man and wrapped her arms around him as tears fell down from both of them. They could still hear everyone fighting outside. She had no choice but to do this. She clicked her fingers, and the metal three barely held together after having to hold up collapsed houses to get everyone out safely. They were all missing limbs, but they knew what she wanted. They took hold of the old man. You give me a second chance to live. I might have to wear a disguise out of here so no one knows who I am. But I can do that now. I can see the town smile when they see me instead of looking at me with hatred and disgust. I had Viola by my side too. You both gave me a second chance to have a family, and I love you both so much, which is why it's alright. My life only had meaning because I had both of you in it. And if this is the end, then I'm glad I got to save you both. Goodbye, Dad. Thank you for the life you gave me, Valencia replied. The old man yelled and screamed as the metal three dragged him swiftly out of the shop. The last thing he saw was Valencia smile at him as she stood at the edge of that unending darkness and let herself fall into it. Outside, the mayor was winning, but not long after the metal three got the old man out, the ground began to shake violently. It destroyed any houses that were still standing, and a wave of darkness burst through the antique shop, straight into the sky, destroying the old man's home, leaving nothing left. Not even ash or dust. Just a pillar of darkness, straight into the sky. Oh, come on, Nicole. You can't leave it there. I was invested there. Harsh. More from Creepy Corner in next week's show. Now, I did say one of you out there gets your turn to groan this week, and the groaner with the initials DD of South Shields has reserved their groan spot for the next 3 shows, including this one. They emailed all 3 of their groans in. I give you the audience groan. Bear in mind, it is lengthy, and I've had to drop swear words, of course. Here we go. He groans. Amazon food collectors, food packers in shops. Okay, sometimes they're not an issue, and you can go about your business doing your shopping without anyone noticing them. But quite often, there's enough of them to overthrow a small South American country. They've all got the biggest trolleys, they're all ignorant as sin, and they fly around like they're playing Mario Kart. They're oblivious to the regular shoppers and only seem to notice their own kind as they go about blocking the aisles or trying to run over your feet. The worst ones are the ones that haven't worked out how to silence the machines that show the shopping lists. You hear them loudly beeping constantly when I can only assume on new orders coming in or a notice that they've just unlocked a new power-up. Extremely good groan there, DD bud. If you'd like to groan in, drop your 0 or Hero of the Week nominations, tell us your why or why, or your unlucky story, or simply want to give us feedback, you can do so by the following many ways. And yes, I know I keep saying it, but once I'm able to, WhatsApp will be reactivated on a new phone with a new number. You can email us in at thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can find us on Discord under the Groan Zone. You can join on Facebook groups with the Groan Zone podcast. You can drop myself, that's Mr. E. Groaner, or you can drop Admin Nicole a message on Nicole Amos via Facebook Messenger. Or you can comment on any episode and it will be added to a future episode. We'll be hearing more from DD next week, but now we must ask, why oh why? You know, I really wonder about humans sometimes, and TikTok especially. In early April of this year, a makeup artist showed herself smearing her face with a banana peel, claiming that the skin of the banana has natural Botox effects. Experts shut her claims down of big effects, saying it only has extremely small, barely noticeable effects. Her claim is just that, bananas. And I've just got to ask, rubbing your face with bananas, why oh why? We've asked why, now we must ask what with our second game, which is of course Double Down Dummies. Remember, this is not intended to poke fun and involves death or near misses. Please, also, in relation to any past Darwins we've used, don't do what they did. We at Groan Zone headquarters, that's myself and Admin Nicole, we beg of you, don't do what they do, or did. Round 1. So a Dutch footballer thought it'd be a good idea to try and tombstone off of a cliff into the ocean. Not content with this lunacy, he asked his family to film it. Bear in mind, tombstoning is where you drop into the water feet first, right? But how did this lead to his death? Was it option A, he tripped on a rock on the cliff edge and plunged face first into the unseen jagged rocks in the water below? Was it option B, after jumping off, he turned into a free fall and was killed upon impact with unseen jagged rocks? Or was it option C, he made the tombstone but got caught in a rock beneath the water, unable to free himself or get assistance in time, he drowned? Go Groaners, give me an answer. If you're listening after this fact, you press pause now, have a think, drop your answer on. What we got Groaners, what we have? We have B's coming in. Oh, more people are typing. A's coming in. That's it again. A split down line. We've had A's and B's drop in there from Groaners playing live. Any more? Nope. Moving on to round number 2. This occurred on the 5th of May in 2018 in Odisha, India. Our Darwiner, known as Prabhu, had stopped his car on the side of the road to relieve himself after driving from a wedding. His car was full of people, I might add. Where he was squatting, he spotted an apparently injured bear. I can't believe I'm asking this, but how did this lead to his death? Was it option A? Not only had he spotted the bear, but the bear spotted him and lunged at him as it wasn't injured at all. Frozen by fear, he actually had a heart attack and then the bear ate him. The people in the car were safe as the bear went back to where it came from. Option B. Amazed, he crept towards the bear to take a selfie, of all things. His passengers begged him to come back to the car, but were filming at the same time. He pulled out his camera and was about to take the selfie when the bear revealed it wasn't injured and pinned him, thereby mauling him to death. Or was it option C? Everyone got out the car to go help the bear whilst also getting pictures. The bear wasn't impressed and managed to show it was not injured at all. After bites and swipes, our Darwin was dead, but the passengers managed to escape with cuts and probably nightmares. Go Groaners, give me your answers. Then after the fact, you pause, you answer, you unpause. Loads of bees coming in. Any more Groaners? Oh, C's flying in there as well. Another split again. Am I ever going to get away from splits sometimes? Excellent, good call there, Groaners. Right, we'll find out later who bagged points and where. But speaking of nightmares, here comes another dose of Admin Nicole's Anagram Anxiety. Adler 1 is your anagram. That's ADLERONE. Okay? Your clue, it doesn't take much of it to kill a human. Now bear in mind with the letters in it, that shoots down my cyanide and anthrax down. And great, I've mentioned anthrax, I'm now probably on some kind of watch list. The answer to this brain bender will be revealed on next week's show. Almost wrapping the show up now, we have to expose this week's shallow, heartless zero of the week. Now this week's zero disgusted me for a few reasons, and it's just horrible and exploitative. A Home Office worker took it upon themselves to try to extort money out of a UK residence seeker. The total they wanted was £2,000 to approve the refugee's application. The applicant themselves turned to the police via their own solicitor for help, and the police didn't disappoint and arrested the worker, who is actually in a position of trust and shouldn't abuse this. It's sickening. To try to exploit others is just wrong on so many levels. Whoever you are, you're less than a zero, but in the eyes of my podcast, I cast zero status upon you. You should be ashamed of yourself. Now, on a lighter note, we go to the game answers to find who scored points and where. And we also get the answer for one of last week's games. Game answers time. Who the hell am I? Now, older groaners or parents may know this. Your answer was Roger Ramjet, who was a big cartoon superhero in the 1960s. And of course, in the 80s, when I was a kid, I saw reruns of that show. The 5-point countdown. The answer was, and I know loads of people put many answers, I would have accepted Elastoplast, Band-Aid, plaster, or sticky back plaster. If you got it, but change your mind like I said, be aware if you've got a wrong answer at any point there, as long as you've changed one of those answers further down, you've got points. If you didn't, like the person that typed in moon boot, then you probably don't have points. Double down dummies. Round 1. Tombstone footballer. Your correct outcome was B. After jumping off, he turned into a free fall and was killed upon impact with unseen jagged rocks. Please don't be like this guy. Treat rocky areas and water with respect. Bearing in mind, at the time of this happening, he was 31 years old. Round 2, Indian bear shenanigans. It was, again, option B. Amazed, he crept towards the bear to take a selfie of all things. His passengers begged him to come back to the car, but were filming at the same time. He pulled out his camera and was about to take the selfie when the bear revealed it wasn't injured and pinned him, mauling him to death. If you spot an injured bear, don't do anything. Keep your distance and alert the authorities. If you're in a house, lock all your doors. If you're in a car, lock all doors and windows and do your best to just stay out of sight from the bear. Well done if you scored points, but if you didn't, you'll get more chances next week when once again we delve into the groan zone. Take care, groaners. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.